Hey there, my name's Alana, and I live in my 2006 Honda Accord. If you're wondering how that's even possible, I will link my car tour here in the cards, but in this video I want to talk specifically about how I find free campsites, both out in beautiful nature like this and stealth camping in cities. So I feel like most people know about the app iOverlander, and I do use this app quite often to find places in general. But sometimes places on iOverlander are a little sketch. Like maybe it's outdated and it's no longer a free place to camp, or it's a 4x4 road and I can't get there in my Honda Accord. So there's different ways that I find nature spots outside of just iOverlander. But I usually use iOverlander as like a starting point and then go from there. So I'll find a place either in a national forest or in what's called BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, and I'll start at a paved road and just follow a dirt road as far as I can on Google Maps with the satellite on. And when the satellite's on, you can actually see where these little pullouts people have created for camping. Sometimes you can even see the little fire rings from the Google satellite image. However, sometimes the Google satellite image is also outdated, just like iOverlander, so sometimes you don't really find out until you get there. So if I arrive at a national forest or a BLM land, the things that I usually look for are the signs that specifically say, entering national forest. That means beyond there, you can basically camp wherever you want. Don't camp too close to water or other like established campgrounds because someone might yell at you, but I've never had an issue just parking on the side of a random Forest Service road. This can be a problem though if you don't go past the entering a national forest sign and you're actually still on someone's private property. That is like one of my biggest fears and I try to avoid it at all costs. Same thing goes for BLM land. So you can actually find different maps online that show the BLM land in different areas, but I found that the easiest way to find them is just to go on Google Maps and type either BLM land or recreational area or recreational land. Those three search terms will either pull up BLM land that people have already put on Google Maps, or it will pull up different recreation sites that allow you to use them overnight. It might not specifically say that the recreation area is for camping, but if it's a public recreation area and there's no signs that say no overnight parking, you're good. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, Alana, that sounds like so much work to look at Google Maps and zoom in and zoom out and find all the places myself, you're in luck. I created a Patreon, and on my Patreon, I'm listing my map of all of my saved campsites that I have ever stayed at, and I include notes about what's at the campsite. So are there trash cans? Are there restrooms? Is there water? Is there a beautiful view? How is the road going up there? I give you all the details before you go, so if you are lazy and you just want to find the free campsites, then I would recommend becoming a member over on my Patreon. Also included in Tier 1 is an extra behind-the-scenes vlog from my travels that I don't share anywhere else. Tier 2 includes all of that, plus my ultimate guide to car life, which includes not only the campsites that I've stayed at, but also all of the campsites that I've found potentially to stay at, plus places to stop and eat and drink, and hikes that I want to do, different lakes that are beautiful, places to stop along the way. So it's much, much more than just my campsites. And tier number 3 includes all of that, plus all of my on-demand yoga classes. So if you're interested, that link will be down below. Now, what do I do when I'm not out in nature and I'm not close by a national forest or BLM land? That's when stealth camping comes in really handy. And it's really nice that I have such a small car because I blend in very easily. So if you have an actual RV or camper van that's very obviously a camper van, these might be a little sketchy for you, but you can still try them out. My first go-to, if I'm in a pinch and I have no idea where to park for the night, I'll find either a Walmart, a Cracker Barrel, or a 24-hour Planet Fitness, or a rest area, or a truck stop. That was a lot of ors. But those 5 places are usually guaranteed you'll find one within an hour or two, depending on what part of the country you're in. Now, I know that some people who do van life and car life say to park in hotel parking lots, but that's private property, and I've actually had someone knock on my window. The only time I've gotten the knock was in a La Quinta Inn. So I avoid hotels and I just go to the 24-hour businesses or businesses that are known to let you park there, such as truck stops where truckers stop, Walmart, or Cracker Barrel. Now, when I am choosing to park in a parking lot of a business like this, I usually try to scope it out. And if there's at least one other car camper, it's pretty easy to tell who's sleeping in their car when you live in your car too. But if there's at least one RV, van, car with Reflectix in the window, like, I'm good. If there's one other person in that parking lot, I'm like, cool, buddy system, we're good. If, however, I pull into a parking lot that I would normally stay at, let's say a Walmart, and there's no other campers in sight, and there's like a police officer circling the parking lot, I will be finding a different spot. Also, with these businesses, they usually say to call beforehand. I never do because I have anxiety, but that's why I go with the buddy system, because I assume that my buddy called first. I know in certain cities, they're a lot more strict about where you park. I know in Colorado, it's a lot more strict than other places. So if I don't want to park in a business and I don't want to drive out into the middle of nature to find BLM land or a national forest, that's when street stealth camping comes in. And I have a checklist on how I go about finding these places. A lot of times I'll just post up at a neighborhood park for the day to like make my lunch. And while I'm there, I'll just take a stroll of the neighborhood and observe where there are fences, maybe 2 fences that face each other, so that I could park next to one of them and I'm not like in somebody's window view, if that makes sense. And also when I'm taking a walk around the neighborhood in the daylight, I'm taking evaluation of, okay, are there other cars parked on the street here? Is this a sketch neighborhood, or does this seem well off, but not so well off that they're gonna call the cops on me for sleeping in my car? There's a delicate balance there. And I also like to look and see if there's light posts in the neighborhood. Some neighborhoods don't have light posts, and some people might like that for car camping because then it's nice and dark, but I have blackout window shades. I actually prefer when there's a street light shining on my car so that if anything were to happen, I'm not in the pitch dark. I can just take my window coverings down and drive off if I need to. So yeah, if I'm going to street park, I always look for street lights, cars parked on the street already, being a good neighborhood but not too good, and areas with fences where I can park and not be a disturbance to anybody. Of course, there's all kinds of paid campgrounds and KOAs and things that you can stay at if need be, but I always try to avoid them because if there's free parking, why pay? I'm that frugal. I mean, I live in my car, so. Anyways, if you found this video helpful, show me your thumbs. I would really appreciate it. And let me know down below, where's your favorite place to car camp? I think my favorite's probably Colorado, but I might be biased because I'm in Colorado right now. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe down below. That really helps me out, and make sure that you won't miss out on any of the future adventures. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.